Arsenal are pushing to sign Atletico Madrid striker Álvarez, with talks understood to be at a beginning stage. Yeah, good evening. Welcome along to the transfer show. Bringing in a striker has been a primary focus for Arsenal this summer. We'll take a look at what feat it could take to get the deal done. Mikel Arteta played in convincing a striker to join Arsenal. Only one place to start. Arsenal's search for a striker. How close are they to getting it over the line? It feels like for the first time in a number of windows, Arsenal fans are finally going to get to see the magic number 9 walk through the door at the Emirates. It's been the position that they've been coveting. It's the position they've been desperate for the club to go in action. And it feels like finally we can start to talk about this deal getting closer. Now, how close is the question? We know that Arsenal are pushing hard and they are in beginning talks at the moment. There's been no club-to-club agreement between Atletico Madrid and Arsenal, but the conversation continues between the two football clubs. There are some reports out there suggesting that Álvarez has told his friends, yeah, I'm only interested in Arsenal. Arsenal is a team for me. Arsenal is a team I want. And that he's also made that quite clear to the hierarchy at Atletico Madrid. Atletico, as far as they're concerned. I guess they know they've pretty much lost a player. He's played as many games as he's going to play at Atletico Madrid. And what an incredible 2 years it's been. 67 goals in 102 appearances. It is simply phenomenal. Hence why now we're talking about this potential move. Maybe that celebration will be seen in the Premier League not too far away. Yeah, due just to add to that, Mark, Arsenal thought to be encouraged by the player's desire to join. Personal terms not expected to be a problem, but in a fresh development, Atletico Madrid have given Álvarez permission to delay his return for pre-season. Now, we know pre-season gets underway for a lot of clubs, not only in the Premier League, but around Europe tomorrow. Yeah, that's a week after some of his teammates. That's when he was due back. So some of them have actually gone back a week ago, but he's now been given until Friday as these talks with Arsenal progress. And there is no certainty, given what you've just been saying, that he's going to return at all. Now, you did say, despite these talks being advanced, there's no club-to-club agreement just yet. What is it going to take for there to be this club-to-club agreement? Well, this feels like a little bit of a grey area. Now, normally, when we go into transfer negotiations and we're talking about them, we've got a bit of an idea about what the prices the selling club are looking for. Normally, it's the first question you'll ask your contacts. Okay, fine, but how much is it going to cost to get this deal done? Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing because there were rumoured reports that when Victor Yares went to Sporting Lisbon from Championship side Coventry, there was a release clause inserted into that contract. There was 100 million euros, which is around 150 million pounds. Now, he's 26 years old, and even the president of Atletico Madrid has come out and said, look, we know we're not going to get 150 million pounds for a 26-year-old striker. No one from Spain is going to leave for that kind of money. So therefore, we have to be sensible, and we have to understand that actually, if we're going to recoup back some of the cash we invested and get this kind of sum into the club, we're going to have to soften our approach on this rumoured release clause. Now, there were suggestions, it was around 100 million. Yeah. Because there was that rumour, wasn't there, that Julián Álvarez had some sort of agreement with Atletico Madrid that he could leave for that amount of money. Yeah, but gentlemen's agreements in football, rarely do they ever seem to work out. You hear about these things and you've probably heard about them a number of times over the years between certain players and certain owners, but very often the agreement is always not quite on the same page. Now, we did say that we understood it to be 110 million. However, Federico Varandas has come out and said there's absolutely no chance that Álvarez will be leaving for 110 million in this window. So between 50 million the release clause and 150 million the rumoured release clause. You'd imagine the fee that Arsenal would have to pay will be somewhere in between. You get that feeling that that's where they're going to be. It's going to be probably around 110 million. Whether that's inclusive of add-ons or plus some add-ons. It's going to have to be that kind of figure to get Álvarez out of Atletico Madrid and into North London. Look, we've been speaking about this very topic for so many transfer windows, haven't we? It has been a primary focus for Arsenal to bring in a striker in this transfer window. They've explored the conditions of a deal for a number of players. But when you look at those two players, they're different profiles and different ages, aren't they?
Arsenal in talks to sign Julián Álvarez as transfer plans continue to heat up. Arsenal are reportedly exploring a potential move for Julián Álvarez, with the striker's future once again becoming a major storyline across European football. The situation is even more complicated by ongoing connections to Atletico Madrid and fresh claims that Chelsea may have hijacked Arsenal's earlier pursuit of another target, Morgan Rogers. With multiple deals circling at the same time, Arsenal's summer planning appears poised to be a test of patience, negotiation, and timing. Arsenal's transfer window is entering a period where rumors aren't just growing, they're colliding. According to the latest chatter, the Gunners are in talks regarding a potential deal to sign Julián Álvarez. The idea of Arsenal bringing in a proven attacking forward has obvious appeal. Álvarez is the kind of modern striker who can contribute in multiple phases of play, whether leading the line, dropping into space, or linking attacks. What makes the situation especially tense is that Álvarez's name is not floating alone. Reports connect the broader negotiation landscape to Atletico Madrid, suggesting that Atletico could be involved either through direct talks or as part of the wider competitive picture. In transfer windows, that kind of middle room influence matters, because even if a club is not the final destination for a player, its actions can shape how negotiations unfold elsewhere. If Atletico's interest is genuine, Arsenal may face not only price competition but also tactical pressure over how and when a deal gets done. For Arsenal, this would represent the kind of ambitious signing that supporters typically associate with a club pushing toward the very top of English and European football. The key question, however, is whether Arsenal can secure Álvarez without disrupting the rest of their squad-building priorities. Elite clubs rarely make a single signing and call it a day. They build a profile of players that suits their style, their system, and their budget. A move for Álvarez could be a headline act, but it could also force difficult decisions on squad depth, wages, and the order in which other targets are approached. At the same time, the narrative around Arsenal's market strategy is being shaped by claims that Chelsea may have hijacked an Arsenal deal involving Morgan Rogers. Transfer talk like this is common, but it often reflects a real dynamic. When multiple clubs express interest in the same player, the club that moves fastest, offers the clearest sporting path, and structures the deal best tends to win. If Chelsea did indeed intervene at a crucial stage, it would serve as a reminder that Arsenal's negotiations must be airtight and proactive. Morgan Rogers, depending on the specifics of the rumor, could be seen as a player who fits a certain kind of offensive profile, fast, direct, and capable of eating goal-scoring opportunities either by taking on defenders or by operating in spaces where defenders can be made to turn. Arsenal have shown in recent seasons that they like players who can add urgency to attacks, and Rogers' attributes are often described in that way by scouts and analysts. If Arsenal's earlier approach for Rogers was overtaken by Chelsea, then this would also explain why Arsenal's messaging and efforts may feel more urgent now. Clubs learn quickly in modern transfer windows. Being interested is not enough if another team is willing to press harder. The result can be a shift from cautious monitoring to more aggressive negotiations, especially when a player like Álvarez is seen as a once-in-a-window opportunity. Another layer to the story is that deals involving top attackers often come down to more than just money. Contract length, willingness to move, and the player's relationship with potential coaching staff can all decide outcomes. If Álvarez has a preference for a particular project or system, something Arsenal may be aiming to emphasize, then the Gunners could have an advantage beyond pure financial terms. Conversely, if Atletico or Chelsea can present a clearer path to immediate minutes, that can also influence the player's decision. In the coming weeks, the most important thing for Arsenal fans will be whether these rumors evolve into concrete steps, formal offers, clearer timelines, and confirmity from reliable sources. Until then, it remains a story of competing interests, Arsenal pushing to land an elite forward, while Chelsea's alleged move for Rogers adds a subplot of rivalry and missed opportunities. Ultimately, Arsenal's transfer window is likely to be judged not by headlines but by execution. If they successfully secure a player of Álvarez's profile, and do not lose other key targets along the way, then this chaotic swirl of talk could still end with Arsenal strengthening their squad in the way they want. But if negotiations stall or rival clubs steal key targets, Arsenal may find themselves chasing outcomes that other teams have already secured. For now, the Gunners appear determined to act, even as the market continues to move beneath their feet.